Conservative New Media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's going on? We are here to break down and talk about Houston's 105-100 loss tonight to the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas, Texas. With the loss, Houston is now 21-19 on the season. They have lost 5 games in a row. Dallas improves to 17-23 on the season. They have won 4 games in a row. Now, there was a good fourth quarter comeback by Houston in this game. They just didn't have enough at the end of the game, and Dallas out-executed them late in this game. I'm not surprised Dallas won this game. Houston is playing on a back-to-back tonight in this game, and Dallas is better than their record suggests. They've played a lot of this season without Dirk Nowitzki, or with Dirk Nowitzki coming back from injury and kind of regaining his health, and he's not all the way back, but he's pretty close. So they're a different team right now, and they're deep. They have a lot of experience. They're good. Like I said, they're definitely better than their record would suggest they are. And look, Dallas is making a surge to try to get a playoff spot. I know they feel like they can do that. And their owner, Mark Cuban, has talked about making some moves before the trade deadline in late February to be able to do that. So they're playing hungry, and they wanted this game, and they were able to win. I thought that the main difference in the game was that Houston had too many turnovers, and those turnovers led to points. That was, I think, the deciding factor in this game. That overall. Now, for Houston, the positives from this game were that they did come back. They made a good push late in this game. Jeremy was great in the fourth quarter, and I really liked the play of backup point guard Patrick Beverly. We'll talk more about that in a second. On the downside, Carlos Delfino had a tough game. He's been struggling a bit lately, both with his shot and with turnovers. And James Harden didn't shoot that well in this game. He shot pretty poorly. And so it just kind of all added up to a Houston defeat. Now for Jeremy had a good game. It was an up and down game, and we'll talk about that. But his final stat line was not so bad. He had 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Played 31 minutes, shot 6 of 13 from the field, made 1 out of 3 3-pointers, was 6 of 10 from the free throw line, 1 steal, no block shots, 4 turnovers, 1 personal foul. That's pretty irrelevant, just the stat I had down. And his overall efficiency number was 12. So his efficiency number wasn't that great. You would think his efficiency number would be better given how many points he had. But he did score well, and he really came alive in the fourth quarter. But through the first 3 quarters of this game, he was shooting like 2 of 9 from the field or something. So he was definitely having struggles with his shot. But he did play with good energy. He did play with good energy pretty much throughout the game, and that's important, as we've talked about before. But we did see Mr. Fourth Quarter come alive tonight. He had 14 points in the fourth quarter, and he really helped lead the Houston comeback, and they tied this game late with, about 2 minutes left or so. I'll mention that more in a second. But so Jeremy, he turned it on a lot more in the second half, which was good to see. Now, again, for the first half, Jeremy did play with good energy. He just wasn't getting good results. And I've talked about this before, where I think it's more important for him to play quick than to play well necessarily. And I thought he did that pretty well in this game. Now, of course, you want real results. You want guys hitting shots and stuff. But I thought that he did play with the correct pace in this game, and that was good to see. That's good to see. He's getting more and more accustomed to playing fast. which is what this team needs and what Coach Kevin McHale wants. Now, I've also mentioned before that there will be nights when Jeremy's not playing well and Tony Douglas isn't playing that well. For a lot of this game, that's what happened. And that's why it's so good that Houston has Patrick Beverly now. He really paid off tonight. Beverly had 7 points, 1 board, and 2 assists in just 13 minutes. And he had some great minutes in the second, third, and early fourth quarters. I thought he played fast. He's quick. He's aggressive. He's a very good ball handler. He attacks on offense, and he has a lot of energy. Now, Beverly, when he's playing the way he's playing tonight, and Jeremy was playing the way he played in the first 3 quarters, and Tony was playing how he played, Beverly's going to take some of their minutes. You're going to see that. I mean, Beverly got 13 minutes tonight. Tony Douglas only got 7 minutes, and Jeremy was 31 minutes, which is good. But Beverly is going to take some of their minutes. Honestly, that's not a bad thing. Jeremy can use a little bit more rest. I'm sure Tony Douglas isn't happy if he's going to get fewer minutes, but this is what the team needs. They need another guy, as I've been talking about. They need somebody else who can pick up the pace, score the basketball, and get things done when James Harden's not on the floor or when James Harden is struggling like he did tonight. And I just really, really happy with how Beverly performed tonight. You can see this guy's going to help, and he's going to assist Houston in getting through those lulls in the games that they have, often in scoring when James Harden's not on the floor. And now this guy is going to give them somebody that can help them bridge the gap and let some of the guys, let Harden, Lin, rest a little bit without the team falling apart. And Dallas was doing well early in this game. I think they outscored Houston by like 11 points in the first quarter, but Beverly really kept Houston in it while some of the other guys were getting rest and finding their game. So, as I said, Houston is working to solidify their roster all the way down, 1 through 12. There are 12 active guys on the roster at any one time. There's usually 2 or 3 guys that are sitting on the sidelines in suits at the game. You know, they're still on the roster, but they're not active for that game. Houston needs to have as good of a 12-man roster as they can get. And Patrick Beverly is going to help that out. I've mentioned Terrell Harris, who is playing for the D-League team for Houston. And Terrell Harris is bigger than Patrick Beverly. He's maybe 6'4" or something. Patrick Beverly's like 6'1" something. I've watched Terrell Harris play a decent amount. He's a tremendous athlete, but Patrick Beverly's better than Terrell Harris right now. So I've thought about, which guy would be better? Patrick Beverly's better right now. I'm not saying Terrell Harris can't become a lot better than he is right now, but I think it's better to have Patrick Beverly on the roster based upon what I saw tonight from him. So it's good. I said, look, you don't like losing these games. It's not fun. 5-game losing streak. None of that stuff's good. But it's just like as we talked about with Jeremy before, you have to look beyond the simple stuff and look at what's happening overall. The team is improving. The team is finding more depth. It's like almost like the caterpillar in the cocoon. You don't see what's going on, but things are changing. So I'm happy with what Houston's doing in that regard, and I think it's really going to pay off for them down the line. Okay, back to Jeremy. In the first quarter, as I said, Jeremy was playing well. He was playing quick. He was playing with good pace, but it's a little bit off. Just couldn't quite get his shots to fall. Had a couple of turnovers, and so it wasn't quite there. Second quarter, he did better, but I do think that Patrick Beverly was doing better for the team than Jeremy was in the second quarter. Although Jeremy was still doing some things, it just, again, it wasn't quite there. Things weren't quite coming together for him. He wasn't hitting shots, etc. And we've talked before about Jeremy and getting tired, Jeremy and fatigue. What I realize is Jeremy has to play at full speed most of the time. Not just because that's what Kevin McHale wants and the team needs it in their offensive system, but in order for Jeremy to be effective as an individual player, he has to play quick. Meaning, one of his primary competitive advantages, so to speak, is he's faster than most guys. So in order for him to use that, he has to run very fast. He has to get up and down the court before other guys do, so he can get easy baskets and transition and do this type of thing. Get to the rim before guys are ready, etc. And that's good. That's a skill for him, but it tires him out. And so when we've talked before about how we want to see Jeremy be able to get fouls and draw fouls without getting hit hard. Well, similarly, he needs to be able to be more successful as an offensive player without having to go full speed constantly, without having to run full speed all the time. That'll help him. That'll make him less tired, and that's going to help his game. And that'll come. As I said, there are issues with that right now. He's not great at shooting three-point shots. The Houston offense isn't a perfect fit for him, so it's going to take some time. All right, once he develops some more skills, then he won't have to go at full speed constantly for him to be able to score and stuff. So I think that is something that'll come, but that's something that struck me tonight because I saw him and he was breathing heavy, kind of tired, and I was like, yeah, he's got to play at that speed in order to be successful right now. In the third quarter, Jeremy had some good assists. He had some nice passes to guys, but his shots weren't falling. Still, that's what I said. It was like 2 of 9 or something from the field through 3 quarters, but he was playing better. He was having better results in the third quarter than he did in the first half, so that's good. Once again, we've seen Jeremy, he'll struggle for a half or whatever, and then he'll come out and play much better in the second half, and he did that again tonight. Now, early in the fourth quarter, Jeremy came in. He replaced Patrick Beverly with about 9 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game, and then he turned it on. Then we started to get into Mr. Fourth Quarter. He went to the basket, I think, got fouled, hit a couple free throws. He drew an over-the-back foul on Mike James. Over the back is when you're setting up to rebound the basketball and you box out your man. Boxing out just means you put your body on him, put your arms back so he can't get around you. You have position for the rebound. And then the over-the-back foul comes when the guy that you boxed out kind of climbs over your back or pushes you or jumps over you type of a thing. And that's what happened. So he drew that foul on Mike James. Right after that play, right after the over-the-back foul, Jeremy went right to the rim, got an excellent layup. I think it was very quick, but I actually think it was against Dallas's set defense. In fact, I know it was because it came after a foul. It was so fast that it looked like it was a transition basket, but it wasn't. And that's the kind of play Jeremy is really good at because of his speed. We want him to be able to do slower plays, but he is good at those quick plays, and that's what he did right there. And then right after that, he did it again. Another very quick drive to the basket, get a layup on the right side of the lane. He stole the ball and had a really nice anticipation. Stole the ball from on a Dallas pass, passed it to James Harden. for a three-point shot, which Harden was fouled on, and he got free throws. Jeremy, then he was again driving to the rim. He turned his left ankle a little bit. You could see it. I wasn't sure what happened to him at first. Hopefully he'll be all right with that, and that won't be too swollen. That was the ankle that he turned the other day in practice before the Clippers game. But this was all taking place in the middle of the fourth quarter. So it's like Jeremy took over the game. He really just turned it up several notches and was leading Houston pretty much all the way back. Now, he was fouled a few times. He missed a couple free throw shots. He shot 6 of 10 from the free throw line, which is a little bit weak. It wasn't that bad, but you like to see him do a little bit more than that. But you can't really complain. I mean, he was really the main reason why Houston was getting back into this game. Late in the fourth, you saw Jeremy very confidently. He stepped right into a three-point shot from about 10 degrees off of the top of the key to the right side of the floor. Just drilled it. I mean, it was a nice foot or two behind the line. He just stepped right into it behind a screen and boom, drilled it. And then soon thereafter, he drove to the basket once again, and he drew a foul on Nick Collison, or not Nick Collison. I can't remember the guard's name right now. It doesn't matter. But it's Darren Collison, I believe. That was a really good foul play by him. That's what we want to see more of him. We talk about don't get beaten up. Be smarter and savvier in being able to draw fouls. And that's what he did right there on that play. That was a really, really nice move. And he kind of exaggerated the hit just to make sure that the referee saw it, and it worked really well. At that point, there was about a minute and 42 seconds left in the game. Jeremy hit 1 out of 2 free throws, and that tied the game. So Houston had come all the way back. I think they started the fourth quarter down 7, and it might have gotten the lead, might have gotten a little bit further away from them. But then with the play of Jeremy, they got it all the way back here and got it to a tied game. Jeremy, again, like I said, he started 2 of 9 shooting, but then at that point he was, I think, 5 of 12, or he finished the game at 5 of 12 or something like that, field goals, which is great. As I said, you'll see players like Kobe, and they will start out shooting in a game very poorly. And the easy thing to do in that situation is, well, I better stop shooting. I'm not hitting shots. The way that the great players do it is you keep shooting, because then if you keep shooting, you start making shots. Pretty soon, your shooting percentage becomes a lot better. And that's what happened to Jeremy here. I mean, the 2 for 9 is 25% from the field, but he ends up at like 40-something%. And that's how it's done. That's what I said, have the short memory, keep playing, don't stiffen up and, just stop trying, just keep trying, and pretty soon the numbers will go your way. Late after this, after the score was tied up, I thought Jeremy got a tough call against him. O.J. Mayo drove into the lane, and Jeremy met him there, and they called a blocking foul on Jeremy. It was a tough call. It was a close call. I personally thought it looked like a charge because I thought O.J. initiated the contact. And Jeremy was moving backwards a little bit, but I thought that was his zone. But it's, that call will go. That call is going to be called a block it's going to be called a block. Sometimes it's going to be called a charge. Other times it's just like a 50-50 type of call. After that, Jeremy again drove to the basket, was fouled by Mike James. Another nice drive and good way to get some more free throws without taking too much of a punishment. He made 1 free throw, missed the other. Then Dallas went up by, they got another shot, I think, from Dirk. They went up by 3 points. At that point, there were 25 seconds left in the game. and Houston took a timeout. When they came out of the timeout, they ran a designed play for Jeremy. I could see it. The play was for Jeremy, and you saw he got the ball on about 30 degrees to the right side from the top of the arc. And I think he was trying to get a three-point shot, but the guy defended him. He wasn't able to get a good look at the three, so he drove, and then he basically ended up, he just kind of made a silly turnover. So it was unfortunate because that play was definitely set up for him. But as I said, I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, Jeremy's still a young player. Dallas played played defense well on that possession, and it didn't work out. But so that's pretty much, that kind of was the game clincher. So in some ways you could blame, Jeremy choked or whatever. But as I said, it was a tough play. Sometimes you're going to get it. Sometimes you're not going to get it. Just going back to Beverly and Jeremy. Jeremy, in the future, he will be steadier for the entire game. In this game, he was up and down until the fourth quarter. Now, as long as he's going to be kind of up and down, that's why it's important to have the backup point guards like Tony Douglas and now like Patrick Beverly, so that the team can still succeed even when Jeremy's up and down, until Jeremy gets to the point, maybe in a season or two or whatever, where he's steady the whole way through the game. And that's not a knock on Jeremy. It's not a diss. It's not anything. There are going to be times where he's not playing well still. Coach McHale's going to pull him, and you're going to put in a guy that can get more done at that time. That's all right. As I said, that's the natural progression of a young player. And it's also a team. The team needs to win, whether or not that individual player is ready to perform up to their potential or what they need to be able to do for the team to do well. So I said, Jeremy will get steadier and steadier in the time to come. But for now, it's good to have Patrick Beverly and Tony Douglas, so that when he's a little bit up and down, those guys can come in and kind of pick him and the team up. Jeremy scored one more basket, right, with like 1 second left in the game, moving jump shot from the top of the key. And that was about it. Dallas won it 105-100. And again, just going back to the other point about playing consistently, this is what Jeremy needs to focus on. Just try to play as well and as steadily as you can all game. I do think he played well in this game, though. He just missed shots. But he did have energy, and he didn't play. He wasn't as focused, I don't think, in the entire game as he was in that fourth quarter spurt. So as he can have better focus and concentration for the entire game in the way that he's able to do it, like in the fourth quarter tonight, then that's going to help him. I mean, I know it's always been said about Jeremy, I guess from his past, that he's best when the game's on the line and in the fourth quarter, and hopefully he can bring that mindset to the rest of the game too, and I'm sure he will. As I said, this is a very typical thing for young players, for inexperienced players, is that they are up and down, and so we'll just look for that. I mean, that's something that we should be able to see more of, I think, in the time to come. Okay, the summary of this game is it's a tough loss. But again, it's not unexpected. I actually thought Dallas was going to win this game, just based upon they're more desperate than Houston. They needed to win this game. Houston wanted to win this game, but if Dallas has any chance of making the playoffs, they had to win this game. And they've been on a good roll. Dallas has been on a good streak right now, and Houston's on a tough streak right now. They are in the hard part of their schedule. and you're going to have some more losses in those times. So for the Rockets, they need to just keep working, and as we said, continue to improve the roster. Continue to do stuff like bringing Patrick Beverly up. Jeremy was great in the fourth quarter. Once again, we've seen it. We've seen it before. We saw it last year. It keeps showing that he is definitely a clutch performer. I was very happy with Patrick Beverly in this game. I think he is going to really improve the Rockets and improve their balance and their bench going forward. The next game for Houston is this upcoming Friday at Indiana. That's going to be a tough game too. So as I said, this difficult schedule does continue for the Rockets, and hopefully, again, they can just kind of get through it as best as they can and look forward. I think now Houston's like 4-5 in the month of January, so it's going to be a tough month. Just got to get through it as best as you can and hope some of the other teams in the playoff hunt in the Western Conference kind of stumble a little bit themselves. Couple quick comments. Linamos, good stuff, man. It's great. Happy to mention you. And like I said, I thought your comments are great. And, this is fun. Just keep corresponding. EMZ Chen, good deal. I'll look for you in those forums that you mentioned. Look, as I said, I'd always been taught or read, if you can get 1-to-1 rendering times, real-time rendering, basically. Your video's 30 minutes and it takes you 30 minutes to render it. That's pretty good. Now, some of the newer generation software, you can get it better than that. Like I said, you can get 1-to-2, 30-minute video rendered in 15 minutes. My stuff, as I said, my stuff's about a 1.25-to-1. Now, can I do it better? Absolutely. I mean, with more software and a better processor, I know I could do it quicker just because, again, my graphics are so basic. It should be able to be done quicker than that. But as I said, I'm not going to, I'll work at it. I mean, it's just something I got to work at and get the software and stuff when I can. But for now, as I said, as long as I'm not too tired or sick or whatever to be able to cut the vids pretty quick after the games, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So, okay, that's it for now. Comments below, thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. We will have full information in the video description below the video player for the game highlights and box score of this game, along with game stories. Also information so you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,000 members and growing all the time. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Hope everybody's having a good night or good day wherever you are in the world when you watch this video. And look, just hang in there. A little bit of tough times right now for J-Lin and the Rockets, but this will get better. It'll get better when the schedule gets a little bit easier. And onwards and upwards going to Friday against the Indiana Pacers. Take care.